Okay, also good morning from me. As Jürgen, what's that? Okay, here I am. My name is Stefan Bischoff. I'm a technical project lead on a smart city project of Jena. Jena is just a city in Thuringia, and we do some urban data stuff with a lot of IoT things, and there we heavily use OSGi. I'm a project member and committer in the Eclipse Foundation. If you contact me, you can find additional information. And since some month, I'm project lead of the OSGi specification project together with Tim Ward. Most of you should know him. But let's dive in to what I'm talking about. The specification project. I will mostly speak just about the specification project. The OSGi world is much bigger. There's this whole BMD and PDE and all the implementations. I try to focus on just the specifications. What is new there? What is the specification project doing? Mainly the specification documents. The books that describe how the API should look, how the behavior of the implementations should work. We provide a bunch of source code and artifacts, mainly the core artifact and the many single compendium specifications. There is this one and all, a jar with all specs. The compendium, don't use them. Use the low-level single specification jars. Then we have some utils that we mostly use, like the converter or the push streams. And for me, most important, the TCK, because most questions I had when I was not sure how the whole stuff worked, and when I looked for examples, I looked in the TCKs because they test everything. And if you find something that they do not test, write a test and do a pull request. There you can find a bunch of examples. Where could you find this? On the normal GitHub repo, OSGi. There is all the code, all the sources. If you need it on a nice website, the latest specification draft document is also findable online. As a baseline for the talk today, I will take the core release 8 and compendium release from last year, so that we have a look on what happened since 1 year. So we have some released versions since last year. There is at first an update on the JDBC spec. If you want to get a data source in the OSGi world, one of the common ways is to use the data source factory and ask the data source factory for a data source by giving some properties in. The implementer was not forced to implement all of the methods, so it could be that you have a data source factory and asks for a connection pool data source factory and gets information exception. So since this is not always nice, we just added a little capability property where the implementer could define which of the methods he implements that others could easily filter and get the data out. A funny thing that happened there is this one. We do several things in the last years. We also deploy our TCKs so that all implementers could use the TCK in their build and check if they are really working. In this TCK, we defined properties junk and expected that all implementers will throw an exception. Most will not do it. So we also fixed this, but that's not the main message. The message is we also looked on our TCK to clean it up because we release it and everybody could use each TCK in its own build to test it every time if he is compatible with the OSGi TCK. Some old goodies. In the OSGi world, there is also a pattern for asynchronous programming that's slightly the same, like the features and completable features from Java 5 and Java 8, but started way before, and they are roughly hardly used in the OSGi world, and so they got some new updates to handle way better some error and failure handling. So there are new methods on failure, on recover fifth, and fallback 2. This is also used in the push stream API and the implementation we ship with our util package. There are a concept where you have in your push stream, it's not that you're pushing something in, and if you publish something in the source, you will get an pushback information, back pressure information that tells you how good all these data could handle it. And there are several pushback policies that describes you back how good this is handled. The normal one started by 0 and increased. We added a new one with a threshold. It's basically not more than this line here, how you can register your new one with the options to have a threshold, an initial value, and an increment that you easily could describe how the curve is calculated that gives the information back. How big the back pressure is. So then the real interesting ones. See the Thurflet whiteboard. As you all know, the Jakarta API or the old Java EE namespace isn't anymore available for the Jakarta project. So everything that is in the Java X servlet HTTP has to move to Jakarta servlet HTTP. That we all could use our servlets also in the OSGi world. We have to do some refactorings on our HTTP servlet whiteboard. There was a bunch of Javadoc fixes, a lot of constant and names and dependencies. Also, some contracts changed in the naming. There's a lot of things to do. It took a while to find everything, but that was easily manageable. And so we did the whole refactoring, and then we looked on what we had. And we had the old HTTP service specification, which was on the package OSGi service HTTP, where we don't have further development on, because we only work with the whiteboard, so that the also the names changed. The old HTTP whiteboard specification is now the whiteboard specification for Jakarta Web Services, and it's not the OSGi Service HTTP, it's now the OSGi Services Servlet. That's just a naming thing, but better to tell it now before you can't find it on the old name. And there's also an implementation. The Apache Felix project did a compatible implementation for this for level 5, as far as I know. They are still working on Jakarta 6 implementation, but I think this will be in the next month available. So there are big thanks to Carsten Ziegler and the Felix project. We have the same on the Jakarta RS whiteboard specification. It's slightly the same. A lot of things changed in the naming, but the behavior overall is the same as before. Also, the names changed from the service JAXA-S whiteboard to service Jakarta-S. And we have an additional new implementation of the Jakarta-S whiteboard. The new implementation that came from Data in Motion is not released at the moment, but will be released soon. The snapshots are available. They are compatible with the new Jakarta spec, and they use glassfish as base, the Jersey glassfish as base, and it will live in the OSGi technology project. So Jürgen and Mark, thanks a lot. Also Tim for a lot of work that they gave in. Okay, these are from the specification side, the release things, but we also currently work in the last month on new designs for new APIs. The first little thing is designed for the client-side REST services. So we have the server side where we all know how to register some filters or some extensions, but sometimes you also want this on the client side to add some extensions for a message body reader or writer or some authentication things that your client is prepared by just adding this to a whiteboard. There is the idea to handling client request filters and response filters, also RX and worker providers, to a client-side whiteboard that the client can pick this up and is prepared. If you have any interest in giving ideas into that, that's really welcome. We're here in the design stage, so we just discuss this a lot, how we can do this and how we describe the behavior, so please join if you're interested in this. Other things are done in the typed event handler, where we have the issue that an event handler could register at any time. So sometimes he's interested in knowing what happened in the past. For this, there is this monitors events method that gives you access to the past values that are sent to the typed event. And the second change we want to add is something on the typed event bus. Normally, when we when we use the typed event bus to push some data to a bus, then we have the delivery methods, and if you put a lot of things in, this is always associated with, or could be associated with a lot of overhead you are doing, because you're doing every time the same. That's a bit problematic if you are on restricted resources, and to solve this issue, there is an additional concept of a typed event publisher. The typed event publisher is just a thing that helps you to, or you could register, or you can create a published event, a typed event publisher by using one of the new methods in the typed event bus. The create publisher methods, they can do the whole overhead thing one time and then put the data direct in this one bus, in this one registered topic. So, hello. Well, you're welcome. This is one of the new things in the typed event bus. And then to accomplish the Jakarta EE environment, we have also some work on the good old Jakarta XML web services, where we try to use the same behavior we have, where we have good experience in the HTTP whiteboard and the JAX-RS whiteboard, to just put in a component annotation on top of your resource servlet, or here of your endpoint, some additional informations that are used as component properties, and could register this in this way, a simple Jakarta XML web service. This also will work with the handlers in the same way. And don't trust the topic here. That's wrong. We speak about WebSockets because the same pattern we could also do with WebSockets to register an endpoint, or use it with the normal annotations you all know from the WebSockets. This is something we currently work on. Thomas will have a larger talk on this, so I can skip all additional information on this. And there's a lot more. We're currently working also on in feature launcher. We have this feature pattern which tries to solve some issues on how to compose several bundles together with requirements and configurations, and how to launch this, how to launch multiple features. This is this topic about also the messaging spec and the condition factory spec is something we work on, and my favorite, I don't know why, but it's my favorite, and the converter could now transform various into an optional. But what is really important for me is something that came from my own experience. I started with OSGi maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And there was in Jena, my city, was in face-to-face meeting of the OSGi Alliance. And they told me, hey, if you are interested, then join us. Come to our meetings, we have bi-weekly specification meetings. We have bi-weekly specification meetings. You could join, and we have an own Slack channel. You could find it on the Eclipse page under Contact the Project. There's a mailing list. There's a Zoom call every second week. You can join us there. I joined there. I was there and had no clue about specifications and how to handle this, and I just wanted to know a bit more of OSGi and how this works. And I got a warm welcome, and I found a lot of guys who helped me a lot to understand the concepts much better. And this is what I just want to say. If you're interested in knowing more and having a constant progress on gain knowledge on OSGi, join the calls. We have some guys here that are also joined in the last year and are every time there. Take the chance. And thank you a lot. I think this was a rough overview of what we are doing in the specification project at the moment, and where we also need your help. Take part, and thank you.